What's up, folks? I believe we are live, so welcome. Hope everybody is doing okay. Excuse me as I adjust the microphone here. You might hear a little noise. But how's everybody doing, man? Welcome to another episode of the Sim Standard Podcast with myself and Smitty and AzureEffect, always here in spirit. Y'all know the routine, man. Not a whole lot to talk about, really, but we do got an interesting topic that I'm sure we're going to have a good time with that. As you guys can see in the title, whatever NFL 2K was or is, it won't be happening this year. We'll talk about that. We also will talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs and anything else that you guys want to throw at us. You know, we always say that if you have topics, throw them in the chat because we really don't have any, any topics beyond those two. So we'll let you guys control the show. But that's it. We're going to talk about NFL 2K, what that means. And now that I think about it, I think we can go pretty deep with that. You know, what is that telling us from 2K? What does that mean for Madden? What does that mean for possible simulation opportunity? A lot of different ways you could take that. And like I said, we'll also talk about the NBA playoffs so far. A couple questions I'll throw at Smitty because, he follows basketball a little more than I do. I want to get his thoughts on the play-in games and why they're happening and do we like that format and who do we think is going to come out of the East and West, etc. And that'll be the show unless you guys throw some topics at us. But let's get right to it. I do see somebody say Kwame Brown. Yeah, man, maybe, we always talk about, other little things before we dive into the topic. So, definitely we can get into that. I was telling Smitty offline, I hadn't really watched them myself. I've just been following the commentary, on Twitter and stuff like that. So I can't really give my opinion on what he's saying, but it is interesting. Nonetheless, it is interesting. But anyway, Smitty, how was your week? How's everything going? And whatever else you want to dive into outside of these stated topics.
Yeah. No, man. Week has been week has been good, you know what I'm saying? Definitely blessed, man. And family's been safe and everything, and God's been great to us. So I definitely am one not to complain. It's been interesting out here in these online streets, to say the least. Got the, like I was saying, the Sim, got the stuff with Kwame Brown, and that's been just yikes. My man just and he is doing a absolute phenomenal job expressing himself.
Kwame.
Phenomenal job ethering people. Yo, he may not be a Hall of Famer, but he sure is looking like a Hall of Famer right now. I will say that. The way he been out here,
oh man,
he is on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I mad love to him. And respect to Kwame. And then the whole, even outside of the whole sports thing, Joe Budden and their podcast basically dissolving the whole thing and all that stuff. And I didn't listen to everything that was said with Rory and Mal.
I knew it was going to happen, bro.
But
I'll get into it.
But I listened to a decent part of it. And I mean, it just is like, it looks like Joe felt himself too much. That money really got Joe. It's like Joe never seen money like this before. And now that he's seeing that money, now you're seeing Joe Budden. He wasn't getting it in music like that, but he's getting it here.
Pump it up.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But he on a whole nother level with it now. And it's just like, wow. To see how especially how those guys are all talking, how those two guys talked about it. I didn't look at everything Joe Budden had to say specifically as of yet, so I still would have to listen to his stuff. But I mean, all these videos are like long, lengthy videos explaining. So it's like I gotta listen to all this stuff in doses. You know what I'm saying? Like a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. I don't have the time and bandwidth to just listen to all that stuff like that. Like not in one shot. But it is very interesting to see how all of these things are unfolding out here. But yeah, I really don't have anything. I mean, listen, as far as the Lions are concerned, you know, I really don't have anything to say at this point. I really don't say too much about the Lions unless there's some kind of huge news. There's really nothing for me to say about it. Lions. The Pistons had a great season. I'm happy with it. I just hope that the ping pong balls bounce our way and we come away with at least a number 1 or 2 pick. You know what I'm saying? that's where all my concerns lie at this point. As far as their team is concerned, I want to see them get a real nice draft pick and really go and take things to a whole nother level as far as their performance next year. I believe they definitely can. They got the talent to do so. They got the talent to do it. And adding a good piece and there's some good talent there, but being that high up, they should definitely be able to come away with something real good. So. But that's all I really got, before we jump into everything, all the other the topics and such. So, but yeah, man, I'll slide it over to you, Sam.
Yeah, man. And, yes, Luke, delayed. We'll get into it. That's going to be one of the topics. We'll probably make that the main topic. So we'll jump into the playoff stuff. And we can roll right into that after I, say my little piece. Like Smitty said, I don't have really much to say about, the Steelers. I mean, you guys just heard me speak on Tuesday for my Steeler fan base. It's week to week at this point. News is kind of slow. So, as we get closer and closer to OTAs, training camp, et cetera, not a whole lot to talk about unless there's a signing or two that comes up. Interesting news, though, for you guys that didn't hear it. We did hear that the Steelers were actually they were in the running for Ryan Kerrigan. Which is interesting. It just goes to show that they definitely are trying to get some more depth at edge rusher. So we'll see if they sign somebody else, whether it be an edge, whether it be a DB. Other than that, they're definitely going to have to rely on a lot of these draft picks. One of these later round picks or UDFA guys is probably going to have to play significantly in the secondary. So we'll be interested in to see that battle. But again, outside of that, that's all I got as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll get into the playoff stuff, so I won't really dive into the 76ers right now. In reference to Kwame Brown, like I said, I haven't seen it personally. I haven't listened to anything. I heard one little clip where he was getting at Matt Barnes about Derek Fisher, but that's about it. I haven't heard what he said about Steven Jackson. Jamel Hill. It's funny because I did see on Twitter where Jamel Hill was like, let me go back through my memory and make sure I didn't say anything crazy about Kwame Brown, make sure I'm safe. And then the next thing I know, like the day later, he went at her, he went at Stephen A, he went at Charlamagne. I mean, several people, right? I haven't heard any of it myself, so I can't give my opinion. What I will say is, look, I ain't mad at that type of energy. I'm not mad at it. Whether, people are going to have their opinions, I'm not mad at it. Y'all know me. I respect anybody that is not afraid to say what's on their mind, whether they right or wrong. So I don't have much that I can, give. I'll have to listen, and maybe I'll listen and come back and tell you guys my thoughts on what was said. But just the fact that he's speaking up, number one, I respect it. Number two, just like everybody else, he understands what type of climate we're in right now. This is a social media world. This is a way that you can revitalize yourself or, repurpose yourself in this world and become this sensation. I ain't mad at that. I don't know if that's his main reason for doing it, but why not?
Right.
Why not? And I hear, supposedly I heard that there may be a podcast or something like that in his future. Some people were saying that it's actually coming. So this might be a quote unquote rollout.
Oh, okay.
I ain't mad, do your thing, entertain us, no problem, But as far as how I feel about him and all of that, for us, or those of us who were around, we know how his career went. I'm not gonna shame him. It is what it is. He didn't pan out to be the best player, but hey, if this is your way of getting back, cool.
Right.
I salute you. Now, as far as the Joe Budden stuff, Now, guys, y'all know I watched the Joe Budden podcast, so I know the entire situation in terms of what they told us, because there's still stuff behind the scenes that we'll never know. But I definitely felt like, let me start with this. I felt like, for you guys that don't know, I'll bring you up to speed. There had been some tension between Joe Budden and Roy, before they had their fallout. You could tell, if you watch the podcast the way I do, you could tell there was a little tension, you can play with your friends and they would always say stuff like, man, you want to fight? Da, da, da. Y'all know that. You've done that with your boys. Like, man, you want to go outside, and it's just ha, 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 joke, right? But that last month or two, you could tell it sounded a little more aggressive, and they started butting heads a little more, and it didn't feel friendly. But, we didn't pay no minds. We don't know these people personally, right? So, boom. All of a sudden, a show comes on, and there's no Roy, there's no Maul. So, of course, if you listen to the show, you're like, okay, what's going on here? Finally, I think the second episode that they weren't there, Joe Budden addressed it. There was a beef between them. Hopefully, they could get it resolved. That's what he said. Let's give it a month or so. We'll see what happens. So they did several shows without them. About a month or so later, here comes Maul and Roy back on the show. And they basically aired everything out to let people know what was going on. But you could tell on that show that there were still issues because of the certain things that Maul said. And again, some people might not care about any of this, but hey, there's nothing else to talk about, right? We'll get to the topics in a minute. So basically, Joe Budden did something grimy, and he basically told Maul that the show was none of his business. Now, you're going to tell that to somebody that helped you build the success where you are? Maul is a respect guy. It just didn't sit right with him. And you could tell on that show that I knew right then this ain't going to last long. Because, once somebody says something to you in a certain way, y'all all have been there. Somebody could say something to you in a certain way and their relationship would never be the same. So, needless to say, they did another episode after that, and the very next one, they're gone again. Joe Budden apparently goes off on a rant, fires them online, yada, yada, yada. Maul and Roy did a show to tell their truth about the situation. And again, there's three sides to every story. But what it definitely seems to be is that Joe Budden didn't provide the information that they needed to know to be aware of what they should have made, yada, yada, yada. But the point of why me and Smitty even said it is just crazy to see all of this stuff, man, in real time. How cats just, you know what I mean? Things just fall apart right in front of our faces and we can all watch it. But yeah, like I said, that conversation might not mean anything to any of you guys, but I came away from it with this. I respect Maul because I'm kind of like that. I'm not even kind of, I am like that.
Sim, I'll be right back, bro.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, I'm big on principles, man. I feel like if somebody's supposed to be your friend or what have you, is certain things that they can and can't say to you. You know what I'm saying? And if your best friend says something that cuts you so deep, there's certain lines that you can't cross. And once a person crossed that certain line, the respect level ain't the same, the love ain't the same. And that's what I took away from it. I feel like regardless of the reason why Joe Budden may have said what he said, you can't do that. You can't tell a man that's, 1/3 of the success that y'all are having on that show that is none of his business. After asking the other co-host, after asking him to take some shows off. So again, some of y'all might not care about any of this, but just talking, right? But yeah, just to wrap that up, I like people who are cut from a different cloth. For the most part, I like Joe Budden. He's wrong, I think, in this situation, but I can still say I like his brashness, his honesty. I like guys like Charlemagne. I don't agree with everything that he says. You don't agree with everything everybody says, but for the most part, I like their personality. I like how they're not afraid to say what they have to say. And I could probably say this about Kwame Brown as well. Again, I don't know what's motivating his situation, as far as why he's doing it now. But if it's genuine, I can respect that. I ain't got to agree with everything, but I can respect the fact that he doesn't mind saying what he has to say. That's, type of person I am as well. Other than that, I have nothing else until, Smitty gets back. So I could throw it to you guys in the chat, man. Anything else you guys might want us to get to tonight? Because like I said, I don't want to kick off any of the topics, which we're going to talk about 2K and we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. I don't want to do that without Smitty. So if there's anything, if you guys want to throw at me in the chat, if not, I promise you I can find something to, to just ramble about. Les Toast Media says he's low-key 20 years late, but salute to him. They've been dog walking him for years. Yeah, man. I mean, Kwame Brown has been the butt of the joke for millions and millions of years. So, for him to finally be able to get his off, I ain't mad at him. Killmonger says Madden 22. Okay. Specifically, what do you want to know? And I'll just start talking about Madden 22. And like I said, for anybody who's coming in right now, I'm just waiting for, Smitty had to step away for a moment. So I'm waiting for him before we dive into the topics there in the title. Madden 22 for me, man, I'm going to be honest with y'all. And y'all know, I said this last week, but I'll say it again. I have no optimism in terms of, man, I hope they do this. Man, I hope they do that. I don't have any of that because the game is what's going to make and break Madden 22 and beyond is what type of attention they're going to pay to the game from the top level. The guys who control what happens with Madden. Is the culture changing in that regard? I have no idea. I haven't been down to EA. I have not been in that building. Obviously, I didn't go in 2020. But the last Madden that I was a part of actually assisting with was Madden 19. It's the last time I have been inside of EA Tiburon. Have not been there since then. Yes, I do still talk to the devs, but side conversations that I have with them, I can't share because, again, I'm a man of integrity. Certain things I'm never going to share that I speak to the devs about. These guys that are like my guys. Some of those dudes there, we rock with each other. It ain't just that's Sim from YouTube. Like, no, we developed a relationship, and I kick it with them the same way I'll kick it with some of my boys. Some of those dudes are that cool. Right. And we have conversation that, of course, I'm not privy to share here. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know what the culture is down there as far as the top executives. I don't know if that culture is still the same. So until I see differences, and trust me, when certain things, if it ever gets in the game, I will know. Smitty will know. And I will be able to come on here and say, okay, culture might be changing a little bit because I didn't expect that to happen. And we'll be able to tell you that once we see it. But until we start to see these type of things, it's a show me what you got mentality for me. I can't. Yeah. I can't be optimistic. Killmonger said my predictions. Okay, I'll get to that. Binoy Johnson says Madden 22 predictions on off-season activities and franchise. Okay. The same question there. I'll get to that. Let's Toast Media says on Steelers stuff, what you think of getting Moses at left tackle since he's a free agent? I'll answer that really quick. And I think I answered this Tuesday night. I don't know if you made the show, but I answered it on a couple days ago on Terrible Towel Tuesday. Somebody else actually asked that question. I'm not opposed to any left tackle that the Steelers want to bring in because anybody who's there right now that's able to play left tackle is unproven. Chooks, a core four, is unproven as a left tackle in the NFL. Zach Banner, if for whatever reason they end up making him the left tackle, which I doubted, he's probably still going to be the right tackle. But regardless, unproven in the NFL as a left tackle. Dan Moore Jr. that they just drafted out of Texas A&M, unproven as a left tackle in the NFL. So I am not against bringing anybody in that's a veteran at this point. Let's see what else y'all got, and I'll get to the Madden 22 here in a second. Luke says, okay, so what do the devs say to the high-ups and the people who make the game? Luke, no disrespect, and I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but I'm just breaking it down to you as easy as I can. What difference does it make what the devs say to the higher-ups? Let me explain. These devs kick and scream the same way we do. These devs fight for the things they want. I've been at EA Sports. We've had meetings, whether it's a post-mortem, which is usually at the end of the week, or maybe it's just during the week while I'm there. We'll have a meeting and some of the execs will come down and listen. And Dev will come back after the meeting and say, pull me to the side. Yo, Sim, thank you for saying that. I was just in a meeting upstairs saying the exact same thing. Now that you guys are here saying it, maybe they'll get the picture. So I say all that to say this. I know some people probably would want the devs to be kicking and screaming and being all rah-rah, but let me bring everybody back to reality real quick. It's a job. It's a job. It's a job. And I'm never going to fault any man for having a career and doing what he has to do to put food on the table. Yeah, I'm a gamer. We're all gamers. I want the most simulation, realistic sports experience I can get. But I'm never going to fault a developer for doing his job. Because, you know, some people get crazy. Oh, man, y'all should do that. No, they ain't doing that for you. I'm keeping it a buck. Ain't nobody doing that for you. They don't even know you. Ain't nobody going in there turning the table over and kicking and screaming like ridiculously and, you know, bumping heads with the higher ups in that manner, like walking with a picket sign. They ain't doing that. They're going to do their job and try to get the best out of it. Now, there is definitely disagreement. I've been there. But what some people are expecting developers to do to the stockholders, I mean, the stakeholders, whatever you want to call them, or the guys who control the direction. Come on, man. What y'all want them to do? You saw what Rex did. And I respect that. Rex was like, you know what? We got a difference, you know, creative differences. It's probably best for me to go. He parted ways. Very admirable. I commend him 100%. And Rex, if you hear this, you know how I feel. We talk offline. Respect Ref, you know, I respect Rex to the end. More than you guys would know, right? But what has changed even since Rex left? That's making my point, right? That's making my point that that don't matter to them, right? So let's say the whole dev team go crazy. Then what they're going to do, they're going to just bring in some other developers that will fall in line. Come on, man. Sometimes y'all got to be realistic. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to be realistic. Like, again.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, all right, cool. I was just wrapping up this point. They were asking me about Madden, and, you know, then we'll jump right into the other stuff. But yeah, guys, sometimes you just got to be realistic, man. I mean, we all want better games. The devs want probably a more realistic game than we want. But at the end of the day, they can't. Their hands are tied. And if you think you're gonna get devs going in there punching windows out, and that's not the real world, man. They're not doing that for y'all. They ain't doing that. They will fight, but then they got to do what they got to do, or they'll be out of a job. And like I said, honestly, that still doesn't solve anything for us. They'll just replace them with another dev that will follow suit. So when it comes to like video games, it ain't the real world. And I'm not saying that any of you guys think that, but I'm just trying to, you know, tie this to some realism. It ain't the real world. Like, it ain't a revolution. Like, you know, like what's going on in this country. It ain't like, you know, how people banded together after George Floyd was assassinated, right? Murdered. and everybody band together to demand change. That ain't video games. It ain't on that level. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? So the uprising is not going to happen in corporate America. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, all we can all do, man, is just keep giving that feedback, help the devs to make their point, and hopefully at some point the higher ups give in. But until that point happens, we keep telling y'all, stop investing so much into Madden. Just okay, if they don't ever do it, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Sucks, but that's why y'all don't hear me talk about Madden so much no more, as far as like videos and stuff, because I don't got the time, man. I don't got the energy. Yeah, there you go. Just don't buy the game. Just don't. But the truth is, most people, even the majority of people that hear this tonight, they ain't gonna do that. They're gonna buy the game.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not telling nobody to feel guilty about buying the game, because at the end of the day, it's a game. If you feel like you need to get your fix, who am I? I ain't mad. And if I bought something and everybody else said I shouldn't, I don't feel bad about it. If I want to do it, that's what really messed this community up. If y'all really want to know, when everybody was so-called banding together, it was too much of that. People expecting you to do what they do, and if you don't do it the way they do it,
yeah.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started with that. Let's move on. Let's get to the topics, man. NBA playoffs. I'm going to throw it to Smitty because I need to know this because I didn't research it, so that's my bad. What's going on with these play-in games? I want to know why is it happening, number one, and I'll give you my thought behind it. Is it happening because the season was shortened, about 10 games, and you're giving people a chance, or is it something that they're trying to do long term, where it will always be a play-in tournament? Like, what was the idea behind the play-in games?
Well, now as far as the concept behind it as to why they did it, that I have no clue about. When they talked about it at the beginning of the season and everything, like I didn't pay much attention to it. But I am happy that they did it, because these games have been very entertaining. Like both of the games, well, except on the eastern side of the fence, you know what I mean? Those are mainly blowouts, but on the western side of it, very competitive game with the Spurs and the Grizzlies. And then to get the exact same thing, I mean, LeBron, and Curry, that went down to the wire. And when, Golden State had a nice commanding lead going into the half. Yeah. But it was a very entertaining game. And my thing is this, just like how you saw the Lakers. Now, mind you, they had injuries and stuff, but I think even if they were to go into full-blown regular season and have the full 82-game season going forward, they should still have this, because I feel that this will serve two purposes. What if the league, or maybe one conference gets it over the other, but what if you have it in the league where you have a conference that has 8, 9, nearly 10 teams that have winning records?
Yeah.
Like how we had in the earlier 2000s. You had teams you had teams that would be a 3 seed in the East, but they were a 9th, 10th seed in the West, because that many games were won. And you had teams that won like 44, 45 games and were out the playoffs. So it would be sweet to see this going forward, because, and my key thing is that the record aspect, teams that are like, dang, man, they ain't make it. but they got a chance.
Yeah.
That part. Secondly, this whole load management concept and people taking it easy. What if you slip? And like with what happened with the Lakers, let's keep it a buck. They did the whole load management thing too. I mean, they had key injuries with LeBron and Davis, but they also played the load management card, a few times too. Now, just think if they weren't doing all that load management stuff, they wouldn't even have had to play that game. You see what I'm saying? Even with the injuries, they wouldn't have had to play that game. So I can't get mad at the idea of this happening. It kind of feels like a March Madness element because this is something that's not typical. Like they just played the other night and they got to play again to play against this team and see if they can make it and all that stuff. It's like, oh snap, yeah, you know what? I'm not even used to that. So this is really, really nice to see. I'm happy to see what these guys have done. You know, what the NBA did. Yeah, it sounds horrible on paper, but in terms of the execution of it, oh, I love it. I love it. You know, good games, and these teams get an outside shot of getting into the playoffs and possibly doing some damage. I love it because what if you had, and I mean, there have been seasons where you'll have certain teams that will just not make the playoffs, but they're like, man, if this team made the playoffs, man, who knows what they could have done, man, they possibly could have. And if you see a number 1 seed or a number 2 seed not perform as well, they're like, man, they lucky so-and-so and such ain't make it because, man, if they did, you see what I'm saying? Like, now that's a possibility. You could have a legitimately good team get that chance to come in and possibly get in. And now you can see that team play and see what ends up unfolding, see how it all goes down. So I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Like it's fun. I love the concept. I like that. Like they were talking about it on the radio earlier. They were saying like it should just be a seed, but no, I'm like no 7th and 8th seed. I like that because you got the battle for the 7th seed. You got the battle for the 8th seed between somebody who's way on the outside looking in. Yes, wait, hold on, honey. You got somebody who's way on the outside looking in, and they have a outside chance. Versus the other teams who really have a much more better chance of getting it. So I like it. It's entertaining. I like the competitiveness. I like it.
Yes, I can't be mad at it at all as far as, one and done. But what is a little crazy in certain situations is like, say, if it works out the way Smitty said, great. But what if it's that time where the one team they don't deserve to be there? Like the 10, they just happen to have a good game and they get in and then get blasted. But it is what it is. I think it does put a little pressure on you to have to bring your A game, and show and prove. Like Smitty said, maybe y'all were a few pieces away or you got healthy later in the season and now you're making a push, but record-wise, you just couldn't quite get over the hump. I ain't mad at that. And I think it does add a little more excitement because I've been watching. I'm watching the game now with Russell Westbrook and the boys. Looks like they might be able to get this one tonight. And I am interested to see what they might be able to do in the playoffs. I don't know if they go that far. But when Russ and Bill lay on, it's a team that you're going to have to respect. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. And I think one of these teams might get upset by one of these guys who played in.
And see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And see, that's the thing too. Russell had an off night the other night with the Celtics. If he didn't have an off night, we pretty much would be seeing the Celtics playing for their livelihood right now. You see, and that's the other thing too. What if it's a team that's supposed to make it? You're not playing a best of 5. It's 1-1. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. So this is like 1990. I think it was 1994 when the Denver Nuggets pulled that upset against the Sonics in the first round. And yeah. I remember watching that. I was bugging out because I was like, man, there's no way the Sonics gonna lose. And the fact it went that 5th game and them boys lost, and then the Nuggets got obliterated the next round. But still, it's like you can have. I highly doubt these dudes are gonna overcome these number 1 and 2 seeds in the East. I highly doubt that.
Nah.
Yeah, that'll be extremely amazing.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, but. But I mean, still, it is an entertaining concept. Like, would it be more entertaining to see Russ and Beal go up against those guys versus the Pacers? Which the Pacers are a good team. They're a nice team now, but would it be better to see, as far as the pace and the style of play, would it be better to see those guys go up against the Wizards and everything? Like, they're playing, they have the chemistry as a unit. The Washington I'm talking about, they don't necessarily have the names. Clearly, they don't have the names over there. But the game can happen to an extent because it's like if Russ and Beal don't go off the respective ways they need to, the whole machine is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't get anything. Nothing's going to roll without them. So that's really the problem. Like, that's the problem with that team. And that's the only issue I would have with them winning this game and going up against the whatchamacallits, the Nets. But other than that, I mean, it would be great to see some star power. Seeing these guys go at it in the playoffs, that would be fun, at least to see. So,
yeah, I ain't mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the playoffs so far, I mean, they haven't started. So, I'll give my quick assessment. I expect Philly or the Nets to come out of the East. I mean, you would expect it. Even as a Sixers fan, I'm not just going to jump on. I'm not going to do the bias thing and just assume. I don't know, man. I think the Nets, if the Nets have all 3 of those guys, that's going to be tough for anybody. Come on, man. It's just, come on. Kyrie can score whenever he can create his own shot when he wants to.
All 3
James
of them.
Harden. That's what I'm saying. James Harden. Kevin Durant, forget about it. I mean, I don't care if we do have Embiid and we got Ben. I think they'll outscore us.
The one thing I would say to your team's defense, though, and unfortunately it's a detriment, but if Ben Simmons could actually shoot,
man,
the Nets would have a problem because he can get to the hole whenever he wants. But the problem, he ain't got no shot. He can play great defense. He can dribble, all that good stuff, but he has no jumper at all.
At all.
And which is absurd for him to not have a jump shot. If he had that, you kidding me? He'd be amazing. And that's what I'm saying. That's like having 2 players in one right there. Because you got this guy that's a unicorn with his height and his agility, and then he can shoot and all that stuff. Please, no, but I would clearly give them the edge over the Nets because Embiid can get dudes in trouble.
Oh yeah, Embiid gonna eat
all day. Yeah, he gonna feast on DeAndre Jordan and whoever else they put in that paint. He gonna kill him, and he can step outside.
Look at Russ, man. I love that. Listen, man, y'all know that. I love Russell Westbrook. Has he always been the smartest player in terms of? Because I used to lay him out too, even before. I've always been a fan of his, but when he was at OKC, boy, I used to be laying him out. Like, why did you do that? But over these last 3-4 years, I just love the way he played. I love that mentality, man. Every night he's not gonna cheat you. Yeah. And that's another reason too. Like another dude who's like one of my favorites now, as far as in the league, is Dame Lillard. They just got that mentality. Him and Russ has got that mentality where they just gonna give you the business every single game. They playing hard. So, but yeah, man, as far as the West, I'll be quick with that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the show because, yeah, I can't outright say who's gonna come out of there at the moment. You never know. I mean, I know everybody is, especially Laker Nation. I don't expect the Lakers to go back to the finals this year. Now, I'm not saying that they couldn't get it together and, kind of get themselves back in game shape, if you will, since, AD and both LeBron are both coming back, off of recent injuries or what have you. They had the layoffs. However, LeBron don't really look like he's slumbering too much, which is crazy. But I don't know, man. The West is loaded. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show. It's loaded. I'm very interested in seeing what Phoenix are going to do against the Lakers. And other than that, to be honest, I haven't even looked at all of the official matchups. And I've decided I'll just wait, because I haven't watched the bracket like that to know who's going to play who just yet. But I don't know. It's going to be very interesting watching the West, man. Seeing what what Denver is going to do. I'm in Utah, and it's a bunch of teams, man, that can play. I would like to see, the Blazers. I definitely want to see what they're going to do. If they off, I can't remember. Somebody in the chat can correct me. Have they made it, or do they have to play in? I don't remember. But I am very interested in seeing, what my boy Dame Lillard going to do. So, yeah, man, the West is going to be the West. There's obviously going to be the best playoffs to watch. So I will be watching. Other than that, man, before we get into the 2K stuff, I will say this really quick. Let's talk about LeBron for a second. I'm going to be that guy, right? And not the guy that y'all think I'm going to be. I don't understand. Somebody please explain it to me, because I'm being 100% honest here and 100% genuine. Why does LeBron seem like he gets so much hate? I don't get it. Now, let me explain what I'm saying. We can all feel how we feel about LeBron. I'm taking my talents to South Beach and all of that. Yeah, I kind of thought that was a little extra, as far as having a press conference and all of that. But at the end of the day, that's the society we in, At the end of the day, that's the society we in. So I couldn't blame him so much then. But I'll be honest, and what I'm saying, Smitty, in case you missed it, is I'm asking the question to the chat. And then definitely you can chime in. All I was saying about the West is that I'm going to enjoy watching it. I don't know who's coming out. A lot of good teams there. But then I went into LeBron. I said, I'm going to be this guy. And it's not the guy that most people think. And my question was, why does LeBron get so much hate? And let me explain what I'm saying. So I said that we can feel however we feel about him. I didn't necessarily like the whole press conference thing when he's taking his talents to South Beach. But again, I understand he only had that platform because the platform was there. It's the kind of the society that we live in. Right. So that happened, right? And I will admit, LeBron does seem to cry a lot when it comes to fouls. Yeah, he does. No, there's no question about that. He's always getting up with that face. What happened? So some people hate him for that. Does he play into his acting ability sometimes to draw fouls? He sure does. A lot of players do it. Did he get poked in the eye last night? I think so. Does he sometimes throw some salt on it? Three rims, LeBron? Come on, man. Stop it. I saw 3 rims and I shoot for the middle one. Man, come on. Now, listen, who am I to say? Listen, I had an eye injury before, and I was seeing double vision for a second. But I'm just saying. But with all that said, with all of that kind of stuff, and he created the super teams and all of that, I still don't understand why he get attacked so much. Like people were saying last night, oh man, that shot was lucky. And it might have been, but it's like, fam, like what do you have to do to get respect? You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, whether you hate or love LeBron, we got to stop acting like he's not a great basketball player. That's what I'm saying, Smitty. I'm not talking about his actions. I'm talking about the people on Twitter. Oh man, he ain't that. Come on, man. You can't say this dude ain't a great basketball player. How could you say that? I don't get it. LeBron James, come on. I seen it all night. Man, he ain't even that good. Man, he had a terrible. You don't last this long if the dude. First of all, I gotta say this too, Smitty, and then definitely take it away. He's 37 years old.
Yeah, he shouldn't be in the league.
He shouldn't.
Not like this. No.
I'm waiting for him to regress. Yeah, and I'm not going to clown him. I'm not going to clown him because the dude is 30. What is it? What year is this of his? 20 or something like that? No. How many years he been in the league?
This is what, 18?
18.
If he's in for 2 more years, he'd be in 20.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So
and people are killing him, Smitty. Like, man, if they don't, dog. Honestly, that's why I said it. I don't expect the Lakers now. Wait, I'm gonna borrow something from Smitty here because Smitty said this before. I think even within the bubble, you are still playing at that level. So we are, it is fair for us to criticize and all that because you playing the way you playing.
Oh yeah.
But yo, I don't get it, Smitty. I don't get why people attack him in that way. Like he ain't really that good. What? Come on, man.
The key reason why he's getting all of this is because he kept doing the super teaming. That's why. Kevin Garnett did not get slammed on when he left the Timberwolves and they did that deal and everything because it was like my man tried. He got the big deal. He stayed there for numerous years. They tried to get there. They got to the Western Conference Finals that one year, and they got bounced out. And he tried. He royally tried to really take the Timberwolves there, and that was it. And then they did the deal and everything or whatever. Excuse me. So, and I mean, I know KG got traded, but the bottom line was he did what Drexler, Olajuwon, and Barkley tried to do. Basically, they played the rest of their prime together and tried to get together and win a chip. Unfortunately, in the case of Barkley, they got to the Western Conference Finals and got bounced out by Utah. This time, these guys made it to 2 NBA Finals and won one. You see what I'm saying? So, and then they got bounced out by LeBron and the Heat. And that's part of the reason why. It's because LeBron did the super teaming thing. And then, I'm going to come back home to Cleveland. Well, I mean, you got this guy in Kyrie Irving there. We're not going to take the draft pick. And that's the thing. He didn't come home to the team as is, which it would have been him, Tristan Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Kyrie. That would not have been a bad team. You know what I'm saying? If he just came back. But we got to get the star. You got to have these things in place. Then I'll come. Okay. And then you go to LA. Hey. You do the same thing there. You had look who was there. Look who was there. Brandon Ingram. Is he a legit player? Yes. I'm not gonna say Lonzo. Lonzo is a good guard. He's not a GOAT or nothing like that. He ain't no superstar.
His brother about to make us forget about him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No disrespect, Lonzo, but I'm just saying.
But I will say this. If Lonzo Ball is anything like Jason Kidd, then it makes sense why he plays the way he plays and his numbers are the way they are. Then that makes sense. LaMelo is more of a scorer anyway, so that makes sense for him to do what he does. Kyle Kuzma and what he is capable of doing.
Don't get me started with him.
And then Julius Randle.
I love Julius.
Dude, look, I said last week.
So happy for him.
With this point with LeBron now, just think if LeBron wasn't there to soak all that up. You're talking about possessions, opportune times for these dudes to grow. All of that LeBron took away from those guys. And he got them boys dealt off. So it's like, I mean, you know, no, all due respect, but that's the kind of stuff, that's the LeBron effect, and that's what he did. He keeps super teaming the whole way through.
That's fair.
And that's why he gets a lot of the hate to the point now where it's like, man, he ain't really hit that shot. He got lucky in the mug. He can't shoot threes. Like, it's like, okay, look.
They saying this dude is trash. Like, people are saying he is not that good. Come on, man. Y'all got to stop that.
That's reaching at that point. Like, you know what? You hate that much. You ain't got nothing else to say. You ain't got nothing else. All you could do is hate. You got that much hate in your heart. That's all you could do. And that's where it is.
We got to start saying that about Kevin Durant.
They ain't going to do it.
We might have to start saying it about James Harden. Look at how he forced his way out of Houston to go play with them boys.
Yeah, but they ain't going to do it to him.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be fair.
They're not going to do it. I mean, I get it, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it to those guys. They're not. See, LeBron is the catalyst. LeBron is the catalyst for a culture that happened. That's how impactful him. Look at what teams. Look how these guys move now. I mean, he made an impact in terms of how these players structure their contracts, how they move around now and click up with each other and all that. LeBron took all the heat, but he essentially made it okay to click up with your buddies and play together. So that's the lay of the land here. That's how it works, unfortunately. But you know, and because of that, he's always going to get hate. And like somebody said in the chat, he's a threat to Jordan's legacy. I don't see him as a remote,
which is silly, man.
Legacy. That's a silly thing. He'll never ever be able to touch Jordan's legacy. He can only pad stats because he's been in the league so much longer. So that's the only thing. And he's been playing at an optimal level. So, but I mean, I appreciate LeBron's game and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like the super team element that he imposed. Like, if he came back to Cleveland, let's say if he came back to Cleveland, I honestly believe if he just came back to Cleveland verbatim, he could have won 2 or 3 rings. That would have honestly solidified his legacy because I believe he would have definitely got to the finals with Tristan, him, Kyrie, and Wiggins at the core. No, they definitely, with a few little signings here and there, they would have definitely been able to get a chip or 2. Like I said, I mean, definitely multiple NBA Finals appearances, but I still believe that they would have got. He may not have went to the finals as many times like he did with all the other with all the other cliques, but he still would have. He would have won more championships, I believe, and they would have been a lot more valid because you went back home to Cleveland straight up and you led that team. You helped lead that team. to getting multiple finals appearances and championships, regardless of whether you won or didn't. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you do that, no one can take anything away from you. Yeah, they would be mad at you about, oh man, you left and went and did your thing with Miami, but all that would have been forgiven if he stayed put. So, and, I mean, if he went to Cleveland and stayed there, now like, oh, I got the ring, now I'm about to go over here to LA and do the same thing that I did in Miami, that was required in order for me to come to you guys. Like, that's what makes it kind of corny. So, still GOAT player though. Like, he's one of the best. He'll be one of the best to ever do it, no question.
Yeah, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, so we can get past it after this. But the only thing I was thinking, some people might think I'm crazy by saying this, but I don't know if I can call any of his other teams super teams other than the Miami move. Kevin Love, to me, people say what they want. That to me, I don't think Kevin Love was the big three, in my opinion. It just didn't work out that way. I don't think he played great when LeBron was there. LA, yeah. When you bring in Anthony Davis, I mean, them two together.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But it's not a big three. That's all I'm saying. Is like technically after Miami, it was never technically a super team. You know what I'm saying? It was always like that other superstar, which this is not a comparison, folks, because I'm on the same boat with Smitty. The Jordan talk, I don't even understand why the comparisons keep happening. I don't understand that. Let Michael Jordan be what Michael Jordan was. I hated it even when they was trying to compare. Why do we do that? I don't understand. Well, nobody will ever be better than Jordan. He never lost.
They did it with Kobe though. Before LeBron came along, they was doing it with Kobe too. You're going to do that, like as players ascend from that standpoint via position, they're going to do that. They did the same thing with Shaq, compared him to big men and all that stuff and everything too.
Not with LeBron. Maybe Kobe. I could see the Kobe one because Kobe patterned his game after him.
Yeah, but
I don't understand the LeBron. I don't get that comparison. Like, I just don't. I never did. And why do some people slight him for, well, he ain't better than Jordan? Who is? Michael Jordan, guys, do y'all realize this? And more I say this stat in my mind over the years, I'm like, that's crazy. Not only did he never lose, he never went to a game 7.
Yeah.
In the finals. That's just, I don't care. LeBron can win 10 chips. He still ain't gonna pass Jordan in my eyes, because that right there, you can't duplicate. You cannot repeat that. I'm sorry. So this ain't a Jordan comparison, but what I'm gonna say, getting back to my original point, we gonna act like Jordan and Pippen wasn't two superstars. 2. I'm not comparing them. Don't jump down my throat. I'm just saying we gonna act like Jordan and Pippen wasn't two superstars, or we gonna act like the Showtime Lakers. What? But no, still, I'm just talking about team, not how they got there. We all understand LeBron made his moves. I get that, but I'm saying technically, after Miami, he's only really just had another superstar. One. In my eyes, I never saw Kevin Love as that guy.
Well, okay, Dennis Rodman would be an all-star in this era. He's not. He wouldn't be an all-star. And
Luke saying, you gonna tell me, you gonna say Thompson and Smith were superstars? Y'all got to stop, man. Those are just good role players.
They were good role players. I wouldn't say superstars or stars even. In that case, but I mean, Dennis Rodman was a big pivotal player. I mean, he disrupted Shaq. He got under star players' heads and everything. Like he was a key piece. He wasn't necessarily. He was an intangible Yes, rebound guy, no question.
How did he get to the Bulls?
You said what?
How did he end up getting to the Bulls?
I don't know. Did they sign him, or was it a trade?
I think they sought after him.
I'd have to pull it. I'd have to look it up. But I thought they signed him or whatever. But I mean,
people gonna kill us for this segment because people gonna think I'm trying to. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying, man.
It's just. I mean, I understand. I get it. 2 stars. I get the whole Kevin Love thing. But then you could say the same thing about Bosh. It's not. Bosh was not the 20.
I always say that.
Bosh that was killing it in Toronto. And
thank you, Smitty.
But when you do this is the only thing, Sim. It's just like KG, Allen, and Pierce. Allen was the guy that looked like the glorified 3-baller when he clearly could do much more than that. But he looked like just a glorified 3-baller amongst those 3 guys. So it looked more like KG and Pierce were the front running guys, and Ray is just when that 3-ball is liquid. Oh, it's hit him. So that's what they were doing, and it was okay because of the load that KG and Pierce were handling. So, and then you had Rondo come into the fold, and he came up. So I get the Davis and LeBron being the only 2. It's just that LeBron basically fell to the back and was like, "Nope, I'm good. I'm not even going to try. Y'all got to go." And see that part of it too. It's like LeBron, like, no, I'm not. Nope. I did not sign up to play with no youngins. I'm only going to play. I need my star. He has to be here. That's the reason. And the sad part is that Lakers team with that ragtag bunch of younger guys and everything was actually doing good together until players got hurt. So I mean,
like my man Terrence just said, listen. What? Love didn't do nothing for the. I'm sorry, in my estimation.
Love didn't do nothing. No, I ain't gonna go that far.
Man, listen, Love was okay, but Love did not ball out when they was there.
I'm not gonna say that. You can't. Somebody's going to fall back.
But this is my whole point with the argument. This is my whole point when people try to say, "Well, LeBron, name me a team that there was at least 2 superstars or guys that was like the bona fide solid 2 that won a championship, even in Golden State." Now I know they drafted theirs, but Clay and Steph, it's always been.
I mean, they were the 2 stars, but I mean, you had David Lee that was balling. You had Harrison Barnes that could turn up.
This is my point.
You know what I'm saying? But see, those guys for the most part were draft picks there. David Lee was the guy that I don't know if he got there through free agency or whatever, but still, like, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I'm just trying to get to the root of it. Like, is it just because people don't like how LeBron did it?
Yeah,
I could go with that argument. I'm cool with that.
Here we go. If Steph or Clay were like, nope, I'm not playing. Get all these dudes out of here. I need a whole new team. And then all of a sudden KD comes and this guy comes and that guy comes and now all of a sudden Steph ready to work. That's where I would be looking at Steph differently or Clay differently if they did that. But that once again further vilifies LeBron because that's the kind of stuff he did. He did it in Cleveland when he had Rose and Wade and all them over there and it wasn't working. Nope, I ain't. Nope. All of y'all the problem. I'm doing my job. Y'all the problem. Like,
see.
So when you do
that's
that,
fair. Y'all hear what Smitty is saying?
You see what I'm saying?
Smitty got to the root of it. I'm glad he said that, and I agree with him with that. The manner in which LeBron did it. Yes. My only debate to other people is when they say, "Man, but look who on his team." You can't win me with that one. Look at all of the best teams, and it was always at least another dude that was that dude. You can't. Most of the time, go all the way back to the Rockets. With a lot, is always at least another guy, and that's where I used to always say, "Well, if we being fair, Jordan had Pippen, and like Smitty said, Rodman was. So you can't knock that part of it. But I fully agree with what Smitty is saying. Is I honestly did not like the way LeBron went to Miami because me and Smitty growing up, we saw a different basketball, so I didn't like that. But now that's just the way. So I will defend him when people say, "Man, if I had Kyrie Irving and I." All right, let me see all of them win without LeBron then.
I'll say this real quick to Terrence, though. The Cavs did have old people on their team, but remember, though, the Cavs also had the best league the best record in the NBA for those 2 seasons. And Shaq was on that team, too. And they got bounced out the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, now the Pistons, and that goes to team leadership and chemistry there, because the Pistons did not have the 04 Pistons did not have the best record, but their team chemistry was off the chain, and they played great defense and the offense and everything. So it's like, and
that Pistons team was the truth.
Yeah, they was.
Chauncey,
Rip.
Come on, man. They had ball and Luke, you making my exact point. Who is a beloved Sixer fan? Why did we never win a championship with Allen Iverson? I'll wait.
Oh yeah, you weren't beating Shaq and Kobe. That wasn't happening.
That is my point. When people try to listen, I'm not saying I'm not the diehard LeBron guy. I like LeBron, but I'm not. But when people try to hit me with the man, he always need help. They all need help, fam. Everybody.
Yeah, they all need. But see, LeBron. Okay, LeBron had help. Just like what Charles Barkley brought up before, when he had Wade and Rose and Rodney Hood and all of them, and he's like, "Oh, but I still need help." You had Wade, Rodney Hood, Rodney Hood was averaging 18 before coming there. Derrick Rose averaging 18 in New York before coming there. What's his name? D-Wade averaging 19 in Chicago before coming there. You had help, and you still got Love, Kyrie, and it started lining up with Tristan, and you like, man, I ain't got no help. Once again, these are the kind of things that when it's being said by LeBron James is going to further vilify you when you have these kind of guys on your team. How much further you think the 04 Pistons could have went if we had dudes that were averaging 18, 19 before coming to our team, and then all of a sudden they on our bench? We're killing teams. I'll put those dudes in.
Yeah.
But LeBron, man, I can't.
Oh, wasn't Prince on that team too? Tayshaun?
What? Oh yeah, Tayshaun. Yeah.
That was my dude.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. When LeBron says stuff, it's a lot of these other actions he took that do that.
Wizards going crazy. So, but yeah, that's all, guys. I love it. See, we didn't even expect that to be the main topic, but I love when we can have good conversation with the chat and all that. And like I said, my only debate, I get into this all the time, barbershop and all that. I'd be like, I feel y'all. I don't necessarily like the way he did it, and he kind of did usher in this new wave. But you can't take credit for what that man do on the court, man. I'm sorry. These people win when he get there. And then even Golden State, which I love. I hate that they did Mark Jackson the way they did him.
Yeah.
But I love how they did it from the dirt, right? Clay, Steph, Draymond, and even they brought KD in. Stop it, man. Y'all got again. LeBron,
one guy. Come on,
Smitty. Come on.
That's one man. No,
you bring KD to that, a team that won 73 games.
One man.
See, y'all ain't. This is what I'm saying.
I can't get
that's not a deeper team than what the Lakers was last year. KD, Steph, and Clay, and Draymond.
Oh no, it's a deeper team. But I'm saying, though, they made one free agency move. That's my point.
KD, you bring in one of the best players in the world.
One man.
To a 73-win team.
One. That's the difference. It's one man versus Did they have to change the whole culture to get KD? That's my point.
Man,
they didn't change the whole culture around to get him, and that's the difference. Yes, it's KD. I know that it's KD, right? I get that part because it's KD, but it's still they made one free agency move versus we got to change this culture, man. You gotta go. These dudes got to come over, and we need another star over there, and we got KD signed.
I get it.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't disagree with any of that. All I'm talking about is the players on the team. That's it. That's all I'm talking about is who ends up being on the team. However they got there is how they got there. But come on, man. Like, come on, man. Come on. They just don't get a dude no credit. That's all I'm saying. You can hate him.
Yeah. He right about the Cavs, though. When they won and beat Miami, there were no stars other than Dirk.
Who won that team? I don't even remember.
Remember they had Deshaun Stevenson. Well, it was 2011, but 2010 team. Yeah, you can say that. But it was Deshaun Stevenson, Jason Terry, Jason Kidd at the end of the line, JJ Barea, Dirk Nowitzki. I don't know. Those are the only guys I remember. But nobody was a bona fide star other than Dirk. You know what I'm saying? And Dirk was in the boat like KG on the Celtics. This was like kick, push, coast.
Who was on that squad? Nobody else.
He ain't have nobody. Let me see here. That
Dirk. Yeah, I think Dirk might have been the only guy.
Yeah, Dirk was the only star that was on that team.
Oh, who else was doing all the scoring for them?
Those guys I was naming.
Oh, homeboy was there. What's the name there then? What's my man that had the funny jump shot? They used to play
Sean
for
Marion.
Marion was there.
Marion was there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I could give you that. But look how hard how long it took for us to figure that. What is one team? But anyway, dang, we spent way too much time on that. All I was saying, guys, to sum it up for those who came in late.
Oh, Caron Butler was there.
I just don't get why. I get that some people just don't like LeBron and his style. That's not what I'm debating. I'm always in this conversation with people whether it's at my job or the barbershop or family, when those who try to say, man, he always got another, and I'm like, I feel what you're saying, but that you can say that about almost every other team. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And that's the argument that I think is not fair. Just that part alone. Not all the stuff Smitty said, because Smitty is spot on with that. Where you politicking this and that. I'm just talking about the team and how it is assembled once they hit the floor. And the thing is, there is still people who stay put, and I still respect it. I respect Dame Lillard because Dame Lillard ain't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say I got to throw KD and Harden and a couple other guys in the same boat as LeBron because they moving. And you still got dudes who right now, they like, nah, I'm good. So you still making your own choice to go team up with KD and Kyrie. Come on, Harden. See stuff like that. If we gonna say it about LeBron, which he probably was the initiator, we don't have to say it about these dudes too. And y'all know how I feel about KD going to Golden State. In the manner in which he did it, right after y'all had him 3-1, I will never forgive him for that. And I love KD. But even if I knew him personally, I'd be like, I still can't let you off the hook for that one. That was crazy. The competitive fire should have made you at least say, you know what, we're going to give it another run. But whatever, I ain't mad. Listen, it's business. Go get your money, go get your ring. And who am I to say? We're just some random guys with opinions. That's all. Let's see. Let's get to the 2K stuff. I thought we would be here long, but I don't know if it's going to take that long. But hey,
yeah,
I'll kick it off, man. For you guys that don't know, whatever the 2K football game was going to be has been delayed. Apparently it's not in the cards for 2021's release, so you won't see an NFL 2K. We all know it was a quote unquote non-simulation product. We didn't get any information, and now we know why. What does that mean for the game and the football gaming industry. I have some bittersweet feelings about it. I was hoping whatever 2K was bringing was going to motivate Madden to be a better game in Madden 22. It still might, because if me and Smitty would know this behind the scenes, it ain't like 2K was going to announce today that they had a game and then Madden was going to all of a sudden be a better game in 20. No,
right.
It would have been their idea from the jump, from right after, as soon as they got that news last year. That might have been the motivation. So we still might get a better Madden. Who knows? I don't like the fact that I'm gonna make 2 points here. I can see it on both sides of the coin. As far as my dislike on this point, I don't like that 2K is not releasing this year, because I kind of feel like if y'all were trying to sort out some type of license, whatever the case may be, y'all were ready to release a game, and you would be releasing a game in the year, the first year that you have the ability to. Like they say, you think they would be chomping at the bit to make a game. So that's a little disappointing. However, I don't know if they ever committed to saying that it would be this year. So I could give them that slight pass, but still I'm looking at them with the side eye like, you should have been ready to go. It's your time. Do y'all realize you're coming off of the negativity of fixed Madden franchise and the Madden 21 having the lowest user ratings and all of that? And it's funny because they still sold just as many, if not more, copies. That's still crazy. But you see what I'm saying? This was your time to strike now. While the iron is hot, 2K, Take-Two Interactive. This was the time to come in, baby. Now, if you ever would have gotten, and I'm not saying this like it's a done deal, but if you ever would have gotten the Madden people to try something else, it would have been this summer. Like, this was the year to come out like, oh, well, why don't y'all try this? And, we got another one coming next year. So I feel like they missed that boat. That right there, that's not a good look. But on the other flip side of it, if you want to say they're taking their time, okay, and maybe they produce a better product, but I don't know how good I feel about that either, because it's still quote unquote non-simulation. So how better of the you understand what I'm saying? All of us here on this show want a replication, authentication, or whatever. I'm saying all these crazy words. Authentic simulation football game to rival or bury Madden's current effort. That's not going to happen with 2K's game. So even with it being delayed, I'm not excited, because we know we're not getting that. At best, we're getting a game that'll at least make people pay attention, maybe make the NFL pay attention, and we still a couple of years, some years away from them even being back in the race, unless the NFL just all of a sudden say, hey, we're going to let y'all get in this year. But that's kind of how I feel about it, man. It's like, it's disappointing because this was the time. Y'all got everybody attention right now and not ready. So that sucks. But if there's any silver lining, maybe we still get a better Madden 22, because just the idea of 2K coming had to, those stakeholders and saying, whoa, wait a minute. Let's make sure we make the people forget 2K. We'll see. But those are my thoughts, man. Not what I wanted to hear. And also, I see somebody said here, college football always been better than Madden. That's debatable. NCAA, I feel like up to NCAA 14, I liked the full package more than Madden. But to me, I've always said it, the gameplay, same problems that you had in Madden was in NCAA. The game was a little looser because of the way they tuned it. Me and Smitty was in the studio when, let me tell you, the way we saw it being played, it was an in-house tournament by the devs.
Man.
It would have made y'all puke. We would have hated NCAA 14. So trust us when we tell you it's just tuning. The foundation of the game is the same. It was the same gameplay team.
Yeah.
It was times when me and Smitty was switching from Madden on our test computer to it's the same. Like, so it always cracked me up when people's like, man, NCAA was so much better. I'm like, y'all, if y'all only knew it's the same people making the game, the same guys. But yeah. But yeah, Smitty, man, how do you feel about the 2K game that's not gonna be as far as this year?
I mean, like you said though, it excuse me, it sucks because this was the year for them to strike. And what was so funny was, like, I remember, I know it was from SGO, but they said they had reached out to 2K, or I guess a representative from 2K was like, they were asking if the game was on pace to be, completed in normal scheduled time, because the pandemic, everything was going on, and they're like, no, there's been no hindrance in the scheduling, no hindrance in anything. We're right on track. Everything's going as according to plan. And he said, matter of fact, I think they said they were ahead of schedule. So it's like, oh, okay, sweet. So it's like, oh man, so the game should be good, nice and polished up and all that good stuff. So it's like, to get the game the way that we're gonna be getting it is like, well, I mean, it's, they pushed it all the way back, but I mean, we can't really say, oh, that's good, because the game can be better. Well, we don't even know how the game is going to be at all to say it's going to be better. We don't have a trailer, we don't have a teaser, we don't have a screenshot, we don't even have a premise. So we have nothing to go by. Now, if these dudes, I don't know, I mean, I highly doubt it, but it'd be something if these dudes went back and had some discussions, and now we're able to make a simulation football game. That would be amazing if they were able to do that. Going back, that would be a very valid reason, right?
Oh boy,
that would be an extremely valid reason. Like, oh, that's why we pushed it back. Like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. But if they just push it back just because, and it's like, oh, it's still going to be that arcade game, we just got to wait a year now for it to come out. It's just like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, I got to wait on Madden. I mean, and that's the interesting thing, too. There's no EA Play until, I guess they said, I don't know when it's delayed. I guess
July 22nd.
July 22nd. Oh, that's what they've already said before. Okay, so July 22nd, EA Play. A few weeks later, typically is when, we would expect to see Madden come out. I don't know, man. Like, it's just.
Wonder if the beta happens this year.
That would be interesting, considering that many people weren't able to get these consoles yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to see this game do good and be solid. It's just that playing this Madden, like Sim did last week, he played the game for a few minutes, played Madden for a few minutes, shut that sucker off, and played the show. And it's like, that's where the game is at. And it's like, what are they going to do that's going to make it potentially showcase, some level of significance to make it feel different, to the point where it's like, yo, and even when they patch it, tune it, and the game gets tampered with the way it will, that the game is not going to be fully compromised at the core. That's going to be the key thing.
Yep.
Franchise mode and all that, the stuff they're doing, at least for franchise, supposedly with coordinators and stuff, from what we seen from Grady in that video back then. Who knows, man? Who knows if it'll even be worthwhile? If the gameplay is not worthwhile, if the coaching system is the way the coaching system has been, that stuff's not really going to matter that much. It's going to be a placebo feature that's going to feel very redundant. The whatchamacallit engine, the scenario engine is not going to mean squat. it hasn't meant squat so far. The objectives and goals and everything don't make much sense. So it's just bland, man. And there's better games to play. So I'm sorry. I don't have high or mid-level hopes for Madden 22 right now. I just don't have them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta blow me. Like my man Azure, I wish Azure could get on the show with us like that. Because I'm like, I need to be blown away. Like,
yeah,
blown away. Yeah. Only you can say it right. Like it just sounds so much better from him, but still, it's gotta be. That's what you gotta do. Like, if you're not doing something like that, I really don't care to play it like that. I'd rather play 2K or PES or something else or whatever. I know these dudes are getting destroyed. 124 to 89. Golly. Yeah, these dudes, they making sure they make it.
I mean, did the Pacers know that they had a chance to get in the I think they forgot. I think they was thinking it was a regular season game or something like that. I mean, my goodness. I want to see something like last night. I want to be competitive, you know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. But no, so 2K is a letdown.
Yeah.
A lot of air. Yeah, and that's the thing. Capitalizing on the errors of EA would have been so huge for those guys. And they let the air out the balloon this year. So, and I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like we're saying we don't want Madden to have a chance, but I want 2K as well to have a chance to possibly have a legit simulation football title too. So it potentially diminishes the chances of that happening by them delaying their project for a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure, the NFL wasn't thrilled by that.
Oh no. And see, that's the other thing too, right? That part. So, but that's the whole thing. Like, why? Like, truly, why are they doing it? And if they got the ability to make simulation football, I'm done.
That would be crazy.
Thank you for that.
That would be crazy.
That would be, oh my goodness. And see, you know what, Sim? What if EA goes hard in the paint like that this year? Because next year, them boys gonna be, 2K may mess around and be them boys and be like, hey, yo,
we all win.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's the key thing. We all win at the end of the day, if that were the case. We good. So yeah.
And that's why I don't understand. I don't know, man. I try to use logic and everybody just doesn't. But that's why I really don't understand the extreme bashing of Madden. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about bashing them for the bad stuff. I'm talking about the folks they suck. I hate them. I wish they would die. The thing is, we all still want a game to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's get on their case, but we all want a better game. That should always be the goal. Even if you mad, the goal should still be for them to get their stuff together. You know what I'm saying? These people be going crazy with it.
They do.
I wish they would die. I wish the devs would catch. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What's wrong?
We still don't have a game to play. So be firm, be disrespect if you have to, but as long as it's in the manner of make a better game.
Yeah.
Now, I can rock with anybody who has that message, even if your message is a little, off, as long as the goal is for them to be better, great. And that is not why are you trying to root for EA? Because they the only one making a modern day football game. I want to play a good football game. I don't care who it come from.
Yeah,
I don't care that they haven't done it.
They quit. My man packed it in and he said he about to go to pilot school. He done with gaming, dude. He's done.
Y'all realize me and Smitty been around long enough to have seen companies come and go. Some companies never get off the ground.
Yeah.
We seen Backbreaker come and go, and they had plans. We saw was old boy Damon Grow and Joe Montana never materialized.
Yep.
Now Maximum Football, and this ain't a disrespect to you, my man. If you see this, you know how I bought your game and didn't even play it long, but I wanted to give you the support, right? Shout outs to Access. Shout outs to I think Havo has a game, but
that's why Havo made his game in the breath that he did.
Yeah,
he didn't go for the gusto because he's like, I can't compete with that. I know, so I'm gonna stay in this little avenue right over here. I'm gonna be my little cubby hole because I know that's I ain't got no business going over here.
I want a game, man. And honestly, Madden is, if y'all want to be serious about it, they're capable. That's really the reason why I keep saying, dog, it don't take y'all long if you just let them boys be great. I promise y'all we could be playing a nice Madden right now. Like, we very well could be playing a nice Madden in 22 if the devs really, not the devs, excuse me, if the execs really was poked when they had to come out and say, "Oh, what's going on, Grady? Get out there and say we're sorry." If that really did spark it, I bet you, I guarantee y'all Madden 22 would be better. Because I'm telling you, it's not the effort of the development team. It's what they have to work with.
Yes.
So that's why, if y'all ever wanted to know why do Sim and Smitty keep trying to say, and we still don't have high hopes, but why do we keep trying to push? Because we've been there. We know that it is possible. If them games that we played in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7 were great games, that tells you right there that they're more than capable of making a great game. They didn't just forget how to make football games. It's just that the guy sitting like this, how much did we make this week? He don't care. That dude don't care. That's the problem with Madden. They don't care. Oh, and let me answer my man here. I saw, where was his comment? Ray, he said, what if the NFL gave EA one more year to prove themselves from all the backlash from Madden 21 and 2K knows? Don't count on that. You know why? Madden ain't lose no money. If I'm not mistaken, I think Madden might actually be up in sales for 21, even with the negative backlash. That's all the NFL worrying about. They I mean, I'm sure if you're a human, they probably was like, oh, what's all that about? Y'all, the money ain't stopped, so I don't know what's going on. And they ain't think no more, they ain't think twice about that. Now, if the money would have dipped, yeah. But I can guarantee you that whoever has a conversation at the NFL, then how's Madden doing? Oh, well, here's the transactions, the statement. It's funny though, because if you look on Twitter, they really killing the game, but they still buying it, and that's all the NFL is concerned with. Like, oh, great, we still make. Oh, we making more money. Oh, well, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just like, I'll give y'all another quick analogy, man. It's like way back in the day when I was like 19. I worked in a call center, and a manager and a corporate person there used to always say, you know, whenever y'all get the call, the disgruntled person, that's only like 5% of the total customer base. You only hearing from them. And when you put that in perspective, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. Fast forward to now, that's the same thing you can say about Madden. Obviously, because they still selling. So that percentage of people who killing it, like some of us, it is that small in terms of the global picture, because the game continues to sell and sell more. So Twitter is really just the small section of us that's like, nah, this ain't gonna fly. But I promise you, there's a lot of people. I got a younger brother-in-law. I mean, you know, younger cousins. They love the game. They get tired of me telling them what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? So go figure.
You gotta remember that everybody that plays this game is not funneled directly through Metacritic or Twitter.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, and like what Sim said, just like our crowd, we said many times on here, Sim community, we're a percentage of a percentage.
Yeah.
These tournament gamers, they're a percentage of a percentage. So those dudes go on stage, whine and complain and say, "Oh, this game's broke." Nah. There's tons of people at home that aren't even watching these tournaments at all, and they're playing Madden and having a blast with it. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to reach those people. They're not looking at YouTube to see people who's complaining about Madden. You know what I'm saying? If anything, they're going to go on YouTube looking for tips, tricks, tactics, and things like that when they go online. So they're going to be looking for those positive tip videos, and that's it.
That's it.
See? So it's like at the end of the day, yeah, there's a little bit of noise and everything like that. Oh, excuse me, but and I mean, it's cool to get some traction when they actually, pay attention to it, but it's not, don't be surprised if Madden 22 is not making a monumental change up in terms of its overall quality with the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm just like, my optimism level is pretty low when it comes to the game. And yeah, the main guy that is from Canuck Studios that made the game, he's the guy, he decided to go to flight school. So he hanging it up and going to flight school. You know what I'm saying? And look, like I said before, Sim and I did it when we broke down the ESBC video. Listen, it's the same. You can't come if you're gonna come to the table and compete with these games in any way, shape, or form in a legit fashion. You got to come like that ESBC. That's it. You have to bring a viable title to the table. You can't come with some old run of the mill stuff thinking it's going to get over. It's not going to go smooth. So Steel City got something like that going on. So yeah, they're able to do that. So, but that's all I got, Sam, man.
Yeah, man. There it is, folks. I mean, we hate to end on a somber note, but that's all. It's just real quick because I got to get out here and I got to run really quick, help my little man with something. But it's disappointing, man, because I thought at least if Madden doesn't hit, we at least could taunt EA with 2K's game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like 2K. If anybody from 2K hears this, y'all missed it, man. Yeah, this was not the time for you to delay anything. You dropped the ball. Y'all should have been waiting, chopping at the bit. Like, we can get back in there as early as 2021. Bam, we're gonna have a game ready to go. And that's disappointing. I'm sorry. And if it's a
last year, it was going to be a game this year.
Yeah, man.
That's the whole thing.
That makes me believe that whatever the game was, I mean, you couldn't even produce a NFL playground type of, nothing. Unless they trying to maybe, like I said, maybe they're gonna follow the my player type of mode. Like maybe it's something like that where you can create your player and it's open work. Who knows? But still, to not release this year, that's a miss. Tremendous miss. But here we are, stuck with Madden. Hopefully they give us something that we appreciate this year. And I so wish, man. I mean, obviously this year it wouldn't have happened, but I surely wish that we were still in a situation where we were still going down there. Because at least without even telling y'all, if we were there and we knew what Madden 22 was doing, we could at least say stuff like, because y'all heard us say it in the past, like, yeah, it's going to be interesting when the game comes out. Because, I think, I think there might be some things that people will appreciate and, maybe be some, we could have been really general.
Yeah.
But we have nothing. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've heard things like I've asked some general questions like, look, was all that stuff lip service? And I've gotten at least, nah, it wasn't. So for whatever that means, we'll see. And it's kind of been consistent in, some of the poking around I've done. It's kind of like, nah, it won't lip service. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know anything. And respectfully, I don't even ask certain questions to the people I rock with because I'm that type of dude, right? I'm not going to put you in a situation where you know what I'm saying? Like, is there times where I'll say it. Is there times where people offer me information? Sure. There's times that's happened, but I don't do the, yo, man, so did you? Because I don't ever want nobody to feel, you know what I'm saying, uncomfortable or something. I'm just that type of dude. If you want me to know, you're going to tell me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to try to get so much from somebody that I'm not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see, man. Like I said, the most I know is that, apparently, it's not lip service as far as the, having a more focusing on, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know. I wish we did, and we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, man, whenever information is given, and me and Smitty will give our thoughts on that. And then even after we do that, it's all about when the game delivers. Let's see how this actually plays out. Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But I really hope some of the features that I've seen in the past make their way to the game. Because I've been dying to come in here and say, that was it. That was one of the things right there that I saw 3 years ago. And I still haven't been able to do that. Still haven't been able to do that yet. And that's concerning. Because it's like, oh, long shot. Oh, that year, man. I was like, oh, man. And it has yet to materialize. I don't know. But all right, man. I have got to, whoa, my Lord, 142 to 115.
Whew.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, guys, I got to run. I think we had a great show tonight, man. I appreciate you guys coming through. There was a great conversation we had about LeBron. I really like that. Yeah, I love these type of shows, man, when we could just like talk. Yeah. Not so much talking. I mean, Madden always comes up in the conversation, but not so much that stuff. I like when we could just, maybe we'll start morphing more into like finding topics of the world to talk about just to get us talking, and then we'll infuse it with other stuff. But all right, guys, we are going to run. Hope everyone has a great night, good weekend. Be safe. God bless. And thanks for rocking with us. Catch y'all next week. Peace.